Miami-Dade police detectives Oscar Plasencia, Amanda Haworth, and Roger Castillo.
Police officers, we've got officers running here. The call came out that an officer and a suspect had been shot.
Reports are that one, possibly two of them have been shot. Two officers are down, as well as the suspect.
The police officer was shot in the head. We have not confirmed that, but we got it from a very reliable source.
The crime happened about 11 o'clock this morning. Police first confirmed Castillo died on the scene. A short time later, this announcement.
I'm sad to report that that the second officer that was shot on the scene expired at Jackson Memorial Trauma Center.
Sadly, while protecting our community, Miami-Dade detectives Roger Castillo and Amanda Haworth's lives were violently cut short.
They have lost two of their own, two veteran officers who were just out doing their job.
Roger Castillo wore a badge for 21 years. Amanda Haworth was a 23-year veteran.
A third officer, Deirdre Beecher, was injured on the scene and is home tonight. A fourth officer, Oscar Plasencia, shot and killed the suspect.
Now, this is the man they were trying to arrest. 23-year-old Johnny Sims is described as a career criminal. He was wanted for a murder that happened in October.
It's not that we purposely went out we knew where he was and we went to effect the arrest. We were actually still in the process of the fugitive investigation, trying to locate him. We had several locations that we wanted to check out to see if the subject was there. We always prepare like if we're gonna run across him. So, you know, we had the side of the house covered, the back of the house covered, and detectives approaching the front door. On that particular day, it was Detective Haworth and Detective Beecher, Dee Dee and Amanda, that made contact at the front door. I was covering the back, and my partner, Roger Castillo, was covering more like the northwest corner. It was a duplex. They knocked on the door. They made some sort of contact with the subject's mother. Amanda, Detective Haworth, came on the air and said, "The subject's inside, everybody come around." At that point, I started running from the rear of the duplex out and around. And when I was on the east side, working my way to the front, I heard a barrage of gunfire.
Castillo and Plasencia began moving around the building towards the front door, but as they did, gunfire erupted. Inside the duplex, Sims had burst out of a bedroom, firing a .40 caliber Glock pistol. His first shot hit Haworth in the head. He then fired a second round into Haworth. Next, he turned towards Beecher, firing several rounds at her. Backing out of the duplex to find cover, she fell into the alley, twisting her knee. Plasencia could hear the gunshots, a lot of gunshots, he said, and he knew what it meant.
What came to mind was obvious. My partners were involved in some sort of gun battle with this person.
By now, Castillo had made it from the north side of the building towards the front door himself, but he ran right into Sims, who killed Castillo instantly with a shot to the head. After shooting Castillo, Sims raced down the alley. Just then, Plasencia turned the corner.
As I came around the front, he was coming out the front door. I was running at him, he was running at me, and we exchanged gunfire and I put him down. And that's the synopsis of it. Lo and behold, and I found out later, there were no exchange of gunfire. They never had a chance. He came out shooting and basically shot them.
This is part of what police officers face every day, and that's just not here in Miami-Dade County. That is across the country.
Witnesses said it was just seconds, and the whole thing was over. 6 to 8 shots rang out outside that house.
2 angels from our police department were murdered today, and I'm angry about it.
Sun will set soon here. The morning for this community has only just begun. A short while ago, as you look at pictures, officers gathered for an impromptu memorial. Several dozen of them gathered as the flag draped body of Officer Castillo was put on a stretcher, their heads bowed in prayer and silence in mourning for their slain colleagues on this day of tragedy for the Miami-Dade Police Department.
And I especially want to thank Oscar Plasencia.
During the ceremony, Rosie Diaz singled out Plasencia, prompting a standing ovation.
Where's Oscar? Oscar, you're as much our hero as Roger and Amanda.
I don't think I did anything different that any other officer or deputy in my situation would have ended up doing. We as law enforcement don't have the luxury to run the other way. And then when you add the fact that where those gunshots are coming from, your friends, your co-workers are there, it's not even open for question. You just run. It's instinctual.
Because they were doing their jobs, that simple. And they were experienced at doing their jobs, and they were exceptionally good at doing their jobs. So I hope there's no question about were they unprepared for what they were doing today, because I'll tell you they weren't. I hope there's no question about were they experienced enough to be doing what they were doing today, because they were. Well, anything else you want to ask me outside of those two things, fire away.
You know, Oscar, you and I have had private conversations, and there have been plenty of public conversations about what you did for this department and what you did for the Haworth and Castillo families. Once again, I want to thank you and remind you that without you and your heroic actions that day, the closure that both of those families talk about would not have occurred. The closure that this department needed would not have occurred. And in all likelihood, without your tactical ability, your skill, and your heart, we may have had a third funeral there. Glad you're with us. You've had a wonderful and storied career. This is another highlight of it. And that event will be a watershed event in the history of this police department for years to come. Thank you again.